bullshit, I guess.
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you?
Boring. 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 Boring.
You gotta work. Don't tell us what we're gonna feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're gonna feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what we're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're gonna feel.
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages.
Still don't get why Keir Starmer got such a big round of applause for wanting to return the sausages. All kinds of problems with that. Anyway, welcome to Lembit Öpik Live here on Unprecedented TV, where we find the facts, kill the spin, and tell it like it is as best we can. Well, if you're watching this live, it's a big weekend for Reform UK, the party tipped to be the next government of the United Kingdom. That's because they're having their conference. If you're watching on the archive, you can compare what we discuss with my guest today with what actually happened. Either way, hopefully it'll be pretty interesting. My guest, Alan Cook, who I will bring onto the stage in just a moment, has been singularly successful in achieving a record first for Reform UK. But before we go into that, let's remember the context. We've got a Labour Party which is on its knees, in my opinion, with the Deputy Prime Minister, who's also responsible for the housing brief, not knowing the rules about taxation on housing. Angela Rayner seems to have had to ask a bunch of experts where she lives, and she still got it wrong. Unfortunately for her, this leak, and we now know it was a leak, so she never thought this was going to come out. This leak is causing a huge amount of embarrassment for her and for also Keir Starmer, her boss. Indeed, if Keir Starmer fires her, she'll look like a fool. If he doesn't, he'll look like a fool. So it's a really bad situation for them either way. Fundamentally, though, it's just another example, another mini chapter in the tale of woes from the Labour Party, who haven't exactly done a great job over the last few weeks and the last few months since they got into power. Then we've got the Conservatives. They've got Kemi Badenoch. She just doesn't seem to be able to get anything going there. She's called for Angela Rayner to resign, but once again, it's a reactive agenda. What's she doing? That's positive. And what's she doing, which hasn't essentially been instigated by Nigel Farage's Reform Party? But maybe you have a different view. Maybe you think the Greens are going to make it. Oh, yes, they've just got someone called Polanski as their new leader. He says that there's a climate crisis, but he can't see the migrant crisis. He welcomes the migrants with open arms. An open goal, you might think, for Reform UK, but are they up? Are they up for running this country? And what do you think? Like this, if you are willing to, on YouTube or wherever you do that. And also share views in X. But let me get the views of somebody who knows more than most about the internal workings of Reform UK. Somebody who seems to be chums with the potential next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Alan Cook. Councillor Alan Cook, how are you?
I'm very well, Lembit, and thank you for having me on your show. And it's going to take a while to get used to being called Councillor Cook, but yeah, it's happening. I am now a Bromley councillor, so it's a start, and I'm getting stuck in now after finding August was very quiet, the holiday month, but now we're into the next month. Things are hotting up locally for work for me, at least.
When I was a councillor, I didn't have holidays. Holidays were for wimps. By the way, I have to say, I actually enjoyed being a councillor rather more than I enjoyed being an MP. I suppose the MP job was bigger, and you could argue that I made more difference there. But I just loved being a councillor. It was just something which just worked for my local community. Have you done anything useful yet?
Actually, we've just had a family holiday in France, and it's really good. No, it's really good to actually see the differences from a French village to an English town, and you can see where we're going wrong and where other people are doing it better. So actually, it's really, really good to get a different point of view, a different vision, and then you can see where you can improve things where you previously probably didn't think they needed improving.
But are you saying that you actually found the French more agreeable in how they're running their towns, their village?
Oh my God, yes. So clean,
Wow.
tidy, no graffiti.
Francophobe. They'll be chucked out of reform for that.
Well, put it this way, I didn't go anywhere near Paris. If I went to Paris, I'll be giving you a different story. But out a little bit, Loire Valley, oh, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. Everything is clean. They literally rinse down the pavements and streets every morning quietly. You know, it's not obtrusive. You don't get woken up by it. There's no litter. There's public toilets everywhere. They're clean. They work. You don't have to pay for them. They just seem to be doing things right. The drivers out there aren't aggressive. It's not. They have more room than us. They have more space. We all seem to be on top of each other in the UK, and you know, literally, we are a little bit full up. So in France, you really can tell because the lack of cars, the lack of people, that it's just a more relaxed and nicer way to live. Why
don't you just go move there then? Off you go. There are plenty of boats. There are plenty of boats in Dover. Just take one and take your family and claim asylum from the third world country, aka the United Kingdom.
Yeah, I want to improve things over here. I've seen where they can be improved. I can see where they can be run better. So I'll get stuck in and make sure that happens.
Well, let's talk about this. You've got a conference. Once again, if you're watching this live, it'll be on the day that conference begins up at the NEC, National Exhibition Centre in Birmingham, which seems to be the favoured venue. I don't think any other party uses the NEC. Everybody else uses it for motorcycle exhibitions and train set collector shows. Why the NEC?
I wasn't involved in choosing the venue, so can't really help you on that one. But I
can tell you the answer, by the way.
Well, why do you ask the question?
Because I thought you would know. This makes me seem clever. It's because it's one of the very few venues in the United Kingdom big enough to accommodate Reform UK's membership, or some of it.
Ah, well, there you go. I presume it's quite central, but there you go. And we don't want to be, obviously, no party wants to be seen as too London-centric, so they wouldn't necessarily do it in London. But it's easy to get to from London. It's reasonably easy to get to from most of the UK.
The cost would be phenomenal in London. Essentially, this is more like a concert than a conference, as far as I know. I've been to them before, and there's an atmosphere.
The last time when we had 10,000 people in our conference in Birmingham, it wasn't the NEC, but that was, you know, I've been to a lot, and you don't really get excited when you've been to all of them, and you know the people who are speaking. You pretty much know what they're going to say to a degree. However, the last time we were there in Birmingham, my God, it was completely different. The stage was more that of a set for a musical. You know, we had the bus stop, we had a JCB bringing Nigel onto the stage, we had the derelict closed down pub, and it was called the Oak, and it had a fallen oak which represented the death of the Tory party. So no, it was a bit of fun, and we had Dr. David Ball as the compere, and my God, they've lifted the conference now to actually make it an event, to make it fun, but serious as well, because, you know, we are literally the last chance saloon for this country. So I know you have to talk about that later, but
we'll talk about it now. Nigel Farage, we've only got a short while today because I know you're very busy with your plans, and no doubt you've had to scoot off up to the conference. But Nigel Farage has done a rather big speech recently. Britain is lawless, and then another one about migration, and they're all overlapping. It seems to me, now I could be wrong, but it seems to me that he's pretty much running the agenda at the moment. He's the acting prime minister. I actually got some reportage for calling him the acting prime minister, but he does seem to be, because what he says, everyone responds to, including Labour and the Conservatives.
Well, we are certainly the opposition. So he's not really the prime minister yet, but he's the prime minister in waiting. And I think no one really would bet against him being the next prime minister.
Yeah, well, the reason I say he's the acting prime minister is because he says something about migration. Labour rejects it, and Tories say, well, that was our idea. And then he says something about law and order. Oh, yeah, we're going to do that, says Labour. The Tory says, well, that was our idea. Everything he says pretty much the others are responding to.
Ideas, but they have no implementation because the majority of their party are actually Liberal Democrats. You know, they are part of the Uni Party. The Uni Party is not the two obvious ones, but it's all four of them. It's the Lib Lab Green Con. And
that's a good line. Nice
the
line.
Green Con bit is a bit of a hint to something else we may talk about. But the fact they are all global socialist parties, and there's still a small element of the parliamentary Tory party that are small C Conservatives, but it's very small. You know, that party is dead and buried, and I think that's quite clear now.
Well, you're saying that. I mean, Nadine Dorris, I'm told, just very recently been announced as a defector. Presumably, she'll be paraded at the conference. I take it you've heard that news, have you?
Yes, that was announced today.
You don't sound very surprised.
Or is she just coming across supporting us? You know, a lot of people say I'm now supporting reform, but they don't necessarily have a role within the party. So it'd be interesting to see actually if she has a role within the party. And a lot of people have spoken at our events, but they don't have a role in the party. So I think let's wait and see how that pans out.
Who decides who has a role? Nigel?
He'll be one of the people. You know, we have a board now, so there'll be a number of people who make these decisions.
Well, let's look at Nadine Dorris. She's got something in common with Nigel Farage and me. You know what that is?
No.
They're being very cautious. This.
Oh, right.
They've all done the jungle.
Yep.
In actual fact,
who actually stayed in longer out of you three?
Nigel, I think.
And second?
I'm pretty sure I was first out of the three of us, but I was first in. I predated Nadine. I was actually the first ex-member of Parliament in the history of the show to be in there. Also, because of previous romance, I think I'm the only person who's not just gone there as a +1, but then turned up as a contestant. Yes. Oh. And that was about, I think it was about 6 years apart, 5 years apart, something like that. So I've been on those planes. And the first time I went out there, they were actually flying us out there with first class, but it was down to business class the second time. Would you do that show?
Would I?
Yeah.
No, I don't feel the need at the moment. Thank you very much.
Why do you think I felt the need?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe to see a little bit of Australia.
Actually, there's a very simple reason I did it. I did it because I thought it was the crown jewels, and I still think it's the crown jewels of TV. And I did it for the money because I'd lost my seat. But you know what? The truth is, I would have actually done it even if I'd been a member of Parliament. I wanted to be in there, and I wasn't planning to stand again in 2015. I didn't really go into it for that reason.
I'd be the most boring contestant because I would just do it all without any hesitation. I wouldn't like doing some of the eating challenges, but you just imagine it's a milkshake and off you go, you know. So I was in there with too much of an issue with it, but I wish it would actually probably be quite boring. But there you go.
I know I enjoyed it. It was wonderful detox. The food was fantastic because it was so simple. No salt, no bad carbs, very clean environment in terms of your health. I loved it, actually. What they didn't know is I'd been a very keen
camper. Sounds like you want to go back.
Pardon?
Sounds like you want to go back.
I do.
Has anyone done it twice?
Pardon?
Has anyone done it twice?
Yes. Jordan, a.k.a. Katie Price, did it more than once.
Oh,
and in the end, she just couldn't stand it anymore. Made her a ton of money. I'd happily go back. If they ever did the best of the also-rans, I would go back like a shot. I loved it. I really enjoyed it.
Well,
One of the eating challenges, they gave me something which was meant to be disgusting, and I loved it. I didn't realize I was meant to hate it. They never broadcasted that. Go on, Alan. We digress, but go on.
You go in, I'll go in. How about that?
Okay, if you will, I will. Imagine to have Reform Party only people. Oh, I'd love to do that. I'd love to beat the others from that one, but we'll see. Let's go back to business now. Let's go back to what's happening in the Labour Party, because Reform's got to beat Labour. Here's a picture of Keir Starmer. If it had been anybody else, like Elon Musk, they'd say it's an unacceptable salute. But apparently when Keir Starmer does it, it doesn't count. This man's in big trouble, isn't he?
He started in trouble. So, what's new? Seriously.
Okay.
He's not Prime Minister material. He's winging it, and he's not doing a good job. And unfortunately, his deep-seated ideology is not compatible with a capitalist Western society. It's always going to go wrong. And I'm surprised that people are surprised.
I was not surprised. I thought he was a gormless fool when I first saw him, and obviously he was fishing to be leader maybe a decade ago. He absolutely screwed.
I had a 20-minute chat with him on a train a month before he won the general election, and I came away with nothing. So, if you have 20 minutes with one of the leaders of the West, you'd expect to have at least a few things to say at dinner parties, but unfortunately, no.
What was so boring about him?
He knew things. He had some idea of the local MPs. I told him, who I was and the fact that I was standing in the same general election for Reform, and he sort of knew some of the local MPs to my area, but he got a few of them wrong. But he just didn't have any real spark or interest. And the tone of his voice never changed. He had no, his eyes never sort of opened or lit up when, I'd say something. It was, it's not a reflection on me, honestly.
You say so. Maybe that's how I feel sometimes.
Absolutely.
I'm only kidding. I'm kidding. You're great. You wouldn't be on the show if you were like that.
Yeah, no, and so I left with nothing. Nigel, who I know and love, you meet Nigel. 10 seconds, he's got you smiling. 20, you're laughing. And if you get 20 minutes with him, then you have got something to talk about at your next couple of dinner parties. He's just such a different kettle of fish. And sorry?
I saw him make a very, very amusing speech recently in person. I won't repeat what he said. I doubt whether it was secret, but it was very human. He said people were accusing him of faults. He said they're all true. But they weren't really faults. That's the thing. Yeah. These days, it would only be a fault. The things he was being criticized for are only faults if you're woke. If you're ordinary, like 65 million people in Britain, you think he's the guy I'd like to have around to my house.
And he's had women problems, which he said himself in the past. So, and he laughs about it, and it's life. So
I really relate to that, Alan.
Yeah.
You couldn't understand what it's like. Before we go further, because we haven't got very long, I have to promote some of the other great shows we have here on Unprecedented TV. All of that and so much more available here on Unprecedented TV, including my personal favourite, Live and Let Die, with former Liberal Democrat Member of Parliament Mark Oaten. Somebody asked me, are we really arguing? Yeah, we actually do argue. We really do feel that strongly about stuff, but he's still a friend. You can actually fiercely disagree with somebody, but still respect them. Alan, that I think is the problem with our current government. They don't understand that. They have more or less trashed free speech.
100%, and it's getting worse. But I'm afraid they're all at it. You know, all of the other parties pretty much want to stop freedom of speech, and it's, you know, when we do get into power, it's actually we're going to have more of a legal battle than a political battle. So what we have to do is reverse a lot of legal changes, and you know, we are going to do what Trump did and be prepared. Unlike the Labour Party, when they got into power, they all looked a little bit shocked and bewildered. And it's like, oh my God, what's just happened? Everyone else knew they were going to win, but they seemed to be the last ones in the room that actually realised they were going to win. And they just weren't ready for it. But, you know, if you look at the quality of the front bench, I think if they were given 10 years advance notice that they were going to win, I really don't think actually would have made an awful lot of difference.
Yeah, that's the problem. I cannot see a massive body of talent in the Labour Party. I have to say, that's how I feel about all the uni party, Tory, Labour, Lib Dem. I'll talk about the Greens in just a moment.
The Greens have a new leader, don't they? And Zach, who I've met a few times, because they don't trust their candidates to actually talk for themselves. In the last general election, I stood for reform in Bromley and Biggin Hill, and the Green candidate wasn't allowed to talk at hustings, so they sent Zach down to actually talk about green policy. Well, I should say red-green policy, because if you look at their policies, they are pretty much communists.
But when you say all that, every party's got its problems. Every party's got its disappointments. Even when there was a Lib Dem,
if a party has a problem, it's fine. If the party is a problem, then it's a little bit different. And I'm sorry, I can't find anything good about the Greens. It's communism masquerading as environmentalism.
But it's actually
the utter wealth redistribution on steroids.
The weird, laughable, in my view, leadership election has coughed up some guy called Polanski, who, as I said before, who cannot see a migrant crisis, but can see a non-existent climate crisis. And he's so woke. He wants to welcome migrants in. He was asked repeatedly on the mainstream media, which I watch so you don't have to, would you have limits on migration? He didn't say he would. He'd just open the floodgates, let them in.
Finally, people are waking up to the Fabian Society and who are members and what their goals are. And, you know, it is frightening, but it's getting out there a little bit now and people are actually wising up to it. So I think over the next month, 2 months, that's going to be the thing which is going to be all over social media.
Fabian Society, you think that's the issue?
Pretty much, yes. You know, the long march through the institutions. It's the global Marxists, but instead of revolution, it's the slow approach, and it's one institution at a time, one level of education at a time, and they are, you know, getting there basically. So they're near the end of their project. So, you know, as again, we are the last chance saloon, I think, for this country for a number of reasons.
I want to use the remaining time, which isn't much, to talk about a little local difficulty. To some extent, it date stamps this show, but we can't avoid it. If you're watching it in the archive, you'll be able to watch the extent to which what Alan Cook and I say turns out to pass. But quite obviously, Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister, is in massive deep trouble. A housing minister who didn't know the rules on tax and needed to ask experts where she lived. It's just so implausible what she's saying. But the other thing about it is she goes on about being working class. I don't know many working class people who can buy an £800,000 flat 265 miles away from their place of work? Or
Well, she's probably got a mortgage as well, and she's probably hoping to still be an MP. So, with the £90,000 a year salary, paying off the mortgage. But hence the media saying pretty much that she's doing a chicken run. So,
a chicken run. Explain chicken run. Explain chicken run.
Basically, she's running away from her seat because Reform are polling so well there. It's pretty clear that we're going to win and she'd be out of job. And so she's gone to a safe Labour seat. There are a couple left down in Hove near Brighton. So that's a chicken run. You're running like a chicken to somewhere which is safe.
But she's not likely to win it if she's found to be... Well, she's already admitted.
Yes.
She tried to actively avoid... Sorry,
yes.
Actively did something which meant she'd pay less tax. It's not a good look, is it?
It's not a good look. However, who are they going to replace her with? Who do you want as the Deputy Prime Minister?
I'll tell you who I want. I want Angela Rayner. I mean, I want her to win because win this case because I want her to continue being a chicken running around Parliament because I relish the prospect. We're stuck with Labour for 4 years. People who say that's not going to happen, maybe you're one of them. I don't believe that because chickens don't vote for Christmas, or turkeys at least. So I want her to stick around because if and when Keir Starmer loses his position, perhaps because of some awkward court case or something else, then she is one of the favourites to take over. Just imagine Prime Minister Angela Rayner.
Oh, I know. We're already a laughing stock around the world for the front bench of the current government. So... I just can't imagine it. So, they are going to do a lot of damage. We know that. So it doesn't really matter if it's Starmer doing the damage or Rayner doing the damage. Rayner will just guarantee that no one in their right mind will actually vote Labour come the next general election.
She did quite a lot of damage to herself recently. Is Starmer so spineless that he won't sack his Deputy Prime Minister, who dodged £40,000 in stamp duty? As I said before, I mean, I put out there, I said that either Starmer fires her and it makes her look like a fool, or he doesn't and makes himself look like a fool.
Yeah, but there's no change there, really, is there? So as I'm ambivalent on it, I don't care. Whichever, if she stays or not, it doesn't matter to me because she's damaging the Labour Party and I don't have anyone better to replace her.
Wes Streeting's clearly fishing for that role now.
Yeah, but is he going to be any better?
Well, yes, he would be better, and that's the problem. I'd rather have Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner because they're guaranteed.
Robert Jenrick would be a better leader for the Tory party than Kemi, but the problem with the Tory party is not the leader. The leader seems to think the problem was the previous leader. And, Kemi thinks, she's the one who can right the problems and sort the party out. But the problem with the party is not the leader. So actually, no, it will make no difference at all. So, and I think the same with the positions of the people in the positions for the Labour Party. The problem aren't the people. The problem is the ideology, the global socialism, the belief that they can tax their way into growth. It's just not going to happen. It's never happened. But they believe their version of socialism, their version of taxing the hell out of people is going to be the version that actually works. And guess what? It won't be.
So let's just have a quick look at Kemi Badenoch before we finish about talking about what's going to happen at your conference. Kemi Badenoch has tried to capitalise on Angela Rayner's problems.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I know the whole House will want to send our condolences to the family of our former colleague, David Warburton. I also welcome the fact that the Deputy Prime Minister has referred herself to the ethics advisor. She has admitted she underpaid tax. So why is she still in office? But there is not just a crisis at the very top of his cabinet, Mr. Speaker. There is a crisis brewing for the whole country. When was the last time the cost of government borrowing was so high?
Now, on the one part's hand, she had an absolute open goal there. And in my view, this is my opinion, Alan, she blew it. Because instead of sticking with the absolute open goal of Angela Rayner's problems, she changes the subject.
Yeah, she's trying to kill a few birds with one stone and attack, but don't split the attack, just attack one area and push through.
Yeah.
But there's no point attacking Reeves. We can get Reeves later on. You know, they can have a go at Reeves later on. The November budget, everyone is in complete fear of that. But at least Reform have actually said that we will reverse pretty much all of the decisions that the Labour Party are making. So they will, all they'll do is just waste time and waste money, unfortunately, because you know, people won't sell a house if they know that they're going to get hit by capital gains tax, when they know that, you know, by 2029 or hopefully before, that will be reversed. So people will hold off. But the only trouble is, you know, I've said this before live on TV, and I shouldn't really be giving financial information or, you know, medical advice on TV because I'm not qualified to do so. But I've said this, I'll say it again. You know, for goodness sake, do not die under a Labour government.
Yeah, a good point. Even though assisted suicide might be tremendously attractive to some, the reality here is, and there could be a pressure there as well. I'd argue COVID was something like assisted suicide, the way that they treated some of the patients. But that's another story. On this one, Kemi Badenoch had the chance to absolutely slaughter Keir Starmer, but she moved on. And here's the irony. Keir Starmer still chose to respond about Angela Rayner. He'd been left off the hook. And actually, instead of that, he actually, let's just have a look at it just for a minute. We're nearly out of time, but let's just have a look.
Such as that. In relation to the Deputy Prime Minister, she has explained her personal circumstances in detail. She's gone over and above in setting out the details, including Mr. Speaker, yesterday afternoon, asking a court to lift confidentiality order in relation to her own son. I know from speaking at length to the Deputy Prime Minister just how difficult that decision was for her and her family.
But it doesn't matter. It's not about her son. It's not about her son, whatever her circumstances.
Yeah, that's a
it's
distraction.
Just about the fact that she's a housing minister and she didn't understand her brief. If she's telling the truth, she didn't understand the brief. Even though she went to experts, she didn't know where she lived.
So, did she have a super injunction over the fact that I believe she sued the NHS? Is it not a good look for someone in Labour to sue the NHS? Yeah. Why? What are they actually referring to? Because no one in the press has actually come up with a true answer on that. Do you know?
No, I don't know, but it's very uncomfortable. I can say though that they're up to their neck in it now, and whatever happens, they're just looking even worse than they did before. We've only got a few minutes left, but I've got to ask you this question. So we've seen all this. What would make Nigel Farage a better Prime Minister? You said you like him, but why would he be a better Prime Minister?
He's true and honest, and he has a mission, which is to actually improve this country. He cares about this country. He cares about the history. He's actually an amateur historian. You know, his speciality, I believe, is Victoria Cross winners. You know, he lives down near Biggin Hill, which was one of the World War II Battle of Britain airfields. He's there often. You know, the chapel's there. He visits a lot. He absolutely loves the culture and the history of this country, and he wants to protect it. And he's highly intelligent. You know, the first time I met him, when I was going to stand for the Brexit Party, I just phoned the guy up and said, "Hi, you don't know me, but I'm considering standing for your party. I'm not going to potentially going to commit 5 years of my life without having some sort of relationship with the leader. Can we meet?" And he said, "Literally, what are you doing Tuesday? My office is in Victoria Street. Come down." So I did. And we had a chat. We're from the same area of South East London. got on well, made him late for his next TV interview. And I've been, behind him ever since then. And he talks from the heart. He doesn't use the auto cue like all the other guys. At the general election, when they had the leaders debate, that was, so obvious that he was the only one not reading. He actually mentioned it at the end. And so the next time they did it, they still had the auto cues. They actually can't live without them. So Nigel, the knowledge is in there, the history's in there, and he's actually the real thing. He will be one of the greatest leaders this country's ever had.
Well, you said that with some conviction as well. Good luck with your conference. Interesting times. Fair play to you. The odds consistently favour Nigel Farage as the most likely Prime Minister, really after Labour. Maybe Angela Rayner fancied her chances. They may have diminished a little bit now, but we'll see. The time, just a teeny weeny little bit, but it's very, very good. And just last of all, how do your conferences work? What happens at them?
Well, they change every time, and they're getting bigger every time, and they're getting more fun and more relevant. So I don't know. This is our biggest one yet. It's a 2-day conference, and there's side events. I've been invited to the Spectator side event, so I'm looking forward to that. I know a lot of the guys from the Spectator. I think I'm actually still the Spectator clay shot of the year. I think that event's coming up in a few weeks, so it may not be after that. So and there's other side events. So actually, there's going to be quite a lot to do, and I think that's one of the reasons why we did need to do it in the NEC, is because we need more than just the one big hall now. We actually need the side arenas as well to actually run all the side events in. So it's more of a festival type setup than just an individual single party conference.
I've been to so many conferences, and I have to say the Lib Dems ones were just the same, year after year after year, and I enjoyed them for a while, but once Nick Clegg took over, the whole thing fell apart. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. Are you going to stand for Parliament, by the way?
Oh, absolutely, definitely. I've stood twice before, Brexit Party and the Reform Party, but when I stood for the Reform Party in Bromley last year, our polling was 10 or 12%, and I got just shy of 18% of the vote. Now that our polling is literally 3 times that, all of the seat predictors are putting it down as a Reform win. So I'll definitely, as long as our members select me, because now we've democratized the party, they will have to actually vote for me to be their candidate. So as long as they do, I'll definitely stand for the next general election.
I think you're in with a chance. Councillor Alan Cook, thanks very much. That is Councillor Alan Cook from Reform UK. You can have your say as well. Please do like, if you like the programme. You don't have to like the views, but we're trying to be free speech here. And please do subscribe, which would be great for us on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed that. And we'll do a wash-up session next week someday with Alan Cook about what actually happened at the conference. Also, let's see if Nadine Dorries rears her head at that conference. I bet you she's there as well. Thanks very much indeed. Big thanks to the team. Big thanks to Alan Cook, Councillor Alan Cook. But the biggest thanks to you for having faith in unprecedented TV. Whatever happens in the world, you can be sure of us. I'm Lembit Öpik, and that was Lembit Öpik Live.
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you?
Boring. 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 Boring.
You got it work. Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. That's exactly what you're doing. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
I call again for immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages,